power at Wrexham FC.
What an amazing story. What an incredible privilege to be a part of that story.
And we take a look at the story that never gets old, just like its character, Peter Pan.
One of the most important sort of points to take away is the importance of friendship, and definitely not taking your friends for granted.
Neverland!
Hello, this is your weekly news show FYI. We have info on the big stories and your news too.
We want to start with the conflicts in Sudan, which have been making the headlines a lot. We started to investigate. So where is it? Well, Sudan is a huge country in northeast Africa, and it shares its borders with Egypt, Libya, and Chad. Sudan is a country where the military is usually in control. There has been war and violence as different leaders fight for power since it became independent from the British Empire in 1956. The latest fighting is between rival armies over control of the country. The UK government sent in military planes to evacuate British families from Sudan. These families arrived safely into Stansted Airport.
Relief is the first thing, and we're out of danger. There's no bombings, we're not ducking and diving, we're home.
Burned houses, burned cars. It's very frightening, it's changed.
Many world leaders, including the UK Prime Minister and the US President, have appealed for both sides to end the fighting. There are fears that neighbouring countries could get involved in the war to try and end it quickly because they rely on Sudan's natural resources, such as the River Nile, oil and gold. And there are fears for Sudanese people. There is a shortage of food, water and electricity. Hospitals, homes and schools have been destroyed. Nearly 1 million people, mainly women and children, have fled the violence to neighbouring countries.
Our expert to help us get more info on this is Kian Salakian, a senior conflict and humanitarian advisor for Save the Children. So what's the latest on the situation in Sudan?
So a couple of weeks ago, clashes broke out in the capital city of Sudan, in Khartoum, and the result of that has been really complicated. First of all, the violence itself has killed and injured a lot of people. People have been forced to flee their homes, pack up everything that they can in a few minutes and go, cross into borders. But one of the things I think that we're really starting to see happen now is the breakdown of things like the health service, the education service, and the implications of that can be really, really long term.
Do you know anything more about how children and families are being affected?
Yeah, as I say, probably a couple of ways to think about it. The first is those that are caught up in the fighting itself. The fear, the anxiety, the uncertainty that creates for them can be really serious and can have long-term effects as well on their mental health and their well-being. But then also, as I say, the breakdown of services. I think it's something like 60–70%. So most of the health service now, particularly in Khartoum, isn't working. So if you're a child, if you're a mother or father worried about your children's health, what do you do about that?
So what more needs to be done to help people there?
First things first, a kind of a ceasefire, some security within Sudan, more support to the communities that are going to be there in the long term, but then also for those that have been displaced, making sure that they have the support that they require. Yeah,
well, it's terrible, and I really hope that the situation can get better. So thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank you.
Of course, another big conflict is the Russian invasion of Ukraine. This video is released by the Russian authorities, claiming it shows a drone attack on President Putin's home in the Kremlin, in the capital of Moscow. Russia has accused Ukraine of trying to attack the president. But how do we know if this is fake or fact? Well, we just don't. This video is released by the Russian authorities, so we can't check if it's for real. And the Ukrainian government released a statement saying they had nothing to do with the alleged drone attack. So because of the King's coronation, a lot of real news and facts have been doing the rounds on social media. Here's one that could be fake or fact. We all know the late Queen Elizabeth loved animals. She kept horses, racing pigeons, and of course, her famous corgis. Starting with her first dog, Sue, at the age of 18. Throughout her lifetime, the Queen owned over 30 Pembrokeshire corgis. But did the Queen actually invent a new dog breed? Fake or fact? We'll find out later.
And here's a royal viral video of a recent visit to Birmingham by Prince William. He answered the phone and took a reservation at an Indian restaurant. The customer had no idea it was Prince William they were speaking to.
Hello, Sydney Street, how can I help? Do we have a seat for two right now?
Right now? Probably half two.
Maybe half two?
As well as taking your booking, the Prince and Princess of Wales helped out preparing dishes in the kitchen. I wonder if they do that in the palace.
So it's been reported that the coronation cost the UK government a lot of money to stage.
Well, a lot of it went on security to make sure that everyone was safe. And there were also costs for decorating things like streets, the buildings, and of course, the ceremony itself.
But some people on social media are asking if the expense was right, especially when so many families are struggling to pay the bills, as the cost of everyday needs like food and electricity become more expensive. But other people say that the coronation is an important tradition that attracts a lot of tourism, which brings more money into the country.
Well, time to get your shout on this. We headed to Eleanor Palmer Primary School in Camden to hear what they had to say about the coronation.
It's quite an important event, so somewhere high up, set around 75 million, 100 million.
Yeah, I'd thought about like 50, 75.
50 million? Yeah, or something like that.
Whoa, that is £100 million.
That is like a lot of money.
100 million, that's a lot.
Yay, you got it right.
How?
I guess
But how?
5 million.
But like actually, how can it cost that much?
It makes sense.
It's a very, very nice special occasion where, you know, King Charles would be crowned king.
It is for a coronation that doesn't happen much. And also like billions of people are going to be watching it across the world. It should be special.
That's far too much. Like, there's a lot of problems in the UK and they could use that kind of money to help them, but no, you're going to spend it on a coronation.
I think like it doesn't happen very often and it's a really big thing and everyone wants to come, but most of the money could be used on the environment.
Yeah, they could portion it up. The nurses that are on strike and the situation in Ukraine could also be aided by that.
Well, if they decided to cut back the amount of money to, like, let's say 10 million, what would you choose to spend the money on?
There's all these people striking because they don't have a high enough pay. That money could just go to them.
I don't think it is worth it. I get he has to have his moment, everyone else has, but there's not much happiness of sitting in front of a TV for ages, just waiting for a crown to go on someone's head.
If you have a story and want to report on FYI, get in touch via our webpage.
Or even better, get your teacher to set up an FYI news club at your school. Members get the chance to report for us. We'll even help you film your own story. You can watch and discuss the latest episodes with free resources every week.
So you may have seen that King Charles was crowned on a golden throne during the coronation. But did you know that the throne is actually covered in graffiti? A lot of which was done by Westminster school pupils and visitors to the Abbey hundreds of years ago, in the 18th and 19th centuries. This is Wrexham Football Club celebrating getting promoted to the Football League for the first time in 15 years.
Wrexham FC in Wales is one of the world's oldest football clubs. But after loads of success, they fell on hard times and ended up dropping out of the Football League. But in 2020, they were bizarrely bought by two Hollywood actors, Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney. Since then, they have been going strength to strength, just like a Hollywood movie. And their most recent win against Bournemouth means that they're back in the Football League.
I can't believe that I'm in a place in my life where any sports team, let alone one I happen to somehow be a co-chairman of, has affected me this deeply. Like, I feel like there was a DNA change when we lived through that Bournemouth moment.
So what's next for Wrexham Football Club? Well, we've got a hold of superfan Dylan to find out more. Hi Dylan, thanks so much for joining us. So this is a massive win for Wrexham Football Club, and the women's team have also been promoted from their league. So what's it like being a Wrexham fan right now?
Absolutely massive. Everyone in the town's loving it. So much more attendance to home and away. The following's brilliant. The atmosphere's in the grounds amazing. Couldn't ask for anything more.
So is it safe to say that Rob and Ryan are hits not just with football fans, but with Wrexham as a city? Why are they so popular?
lovely, nice people caring. What they've done for this time, they've helped us bring it back and get us in the place we belong.
So what's next for Wrexham Football Club and how far do you think this can now go?
Hope promotion, get back to where we belong, establish ourselves in this league and hope to get promoted.
So Dylan, I know you went to the parade. What was it like?
20,000 people, 20,000 people came to celebrate the men's and women's team and the success of the club. And obviously Rob Ryan being there, the whole team, just a great atmosphere to finish the season.
Well, thanks so much for speaking to us. Bye.
Bye. Earlier we asked if it was fact or fake news that the Queen created a new breed of dog. Well, it's a fact. The Doggy is a mix of a Dachshund and a Corgi, and the Queen owned over 10 of them during her lifetime, including her last dog, Candy.
Peter Pan and his friend Tinkerbell are back, taking 3 children from London on an epic adventure to a land where they'll never have to grow up.
I don't think that's a bug. Peter Pan?
Were you expecting someone else?
What do you think young people can learn from this film?
One of the most important sort of points to take away is the importance of friendship and definitely not taking your friends for granted.
I think the central theme is about growing up, and what I love is that the film has a really honest conversation about it. They don't shy away from how scary it seems.
I don't want to grow up. I want things to stay the way they are.
Growing up is the biggest adventure of all, and for young people not to be scared to take on the responsibilities that come with growing up.
No rules, no schools, no bedtimes, and most of all,
no growing up.
Growing up doesn't mean that you have to lose what you loved about your childhood. Just because you're technically an age doesn't mean you have to lose your curiosity, your joy, your love of adventure. I don't know, every day you're just hitting a different balance of adult and kid.
I haven't grown up in many ways. I think, you know, one of the important aspects of acting to me is being playful, using my imagination as much as possible. And so that's probably both been frustrating for those around me and for myself, but also very, very rewarding.
Peter Pan started life in a book by the Scottish novelist J.M. Barrie more than 100 years ago, but the story has never got old. David, what was your inspiration behind creating a new version of this Peter Pan tale for this generation? Did you feel it needed updating?
I love the 2003 version. That was a really meaningful film to me when I was younger. But I felt that here in 2023, we could really introduce this story to an entirely new generation with a different perspective.
Captain, it's Peter Pan. Never say his name.
So, Jude, what made you want to play the character of Captain Hook?
The opportunity of learning to sword fight and to muck around on a pirate ship and stand on top of gigantic crocodiles, and I mean all of that sort of stuff is playful and fun and an extraordinary sort of place to be, really.
Just like old times.
All your times are old, Captain.
Now I have to ask, what was it like filming the flying scenes? Because it looked incredible.
So much effort goes into each scene. You have to work on the taking off, the flying itself, and then the landing, but it was so much fun.
To grow up might just be the biggest adventure of all.
The Coronation isn't the only big event happening in the UK this month. The Eurovision Song Contest is coming to Liverpool.
Last year's winners were Ukraine, but because of the war, second place UK offered to host a song contest. Liverpool has embraced the Ukrainian culture, giving refugees living here a big welcome.
We're going to leave you with some messages from British Ukrainian children who'll be supporting both the UK and Ukraine this Eurovision.
Bye!
And as an English Ukrainian, I'm proud that we can help host Eurovision and help show our solidarity to Ukraine.
I was actually born in Ukraine, but I live in England. So if both of the countries win, I would be absolutely happy with it.
It's nice that a country that has offered so much help to Ukraine during this war is able to take over such an important thing for them.
We are waiting for the Eurovision to start. Thank you, England. Come on, England. Come on, Ukraine. Thank you so much, England, for all the support and the hospitality. I can't wait until the show to happen.